Your first assignment will be to make a children's book. It should revolve around teaching a concept or issue, shapes, colors, first day at school, bullying, etc. But first, let's talk about book art. Think about what you like in an illustrated book. Realism, impressionism, photos, pen and ink drawings. What do you think makes a well-illustrated book? The first picture books were illuminated manuscripts and were for adults. You can use these books to help children understand the history of bookmaking. Stained glass windows in churches were commissioned to tell stories from the Bible to parishioners who could not read. A storybook tells a story with words. Although the pictures amplify, the story can be understood without them. A true picture book tells a story mainly or entirely with pictures. A picture book says in words only what pictures cannot show. Some picture books need words to present concepts that pictures alone can't convey. An example is in Where the Wild Things Are by Maurice Sendak. A picture book with its still pictures can't show certain kinds of motion, the movement of gnashing teeth and rolling eyes. This is where words come in. The Carle books usually only have any words at the beginning and the end. The Carle books would be considered true picture books. Each year, the Caldecott Medal is awarded by the American Library Association for the most distinguished American picture book for children published in the United States during the previous year. What to look for in picture books? Size and shape of a book, which way the book opens, end papers, point of view or your perspective, the pace of the book, is there text on every page, the theme of the story, is it timely or is it contrived? This version of The Lord is My Shepherd by Tasha Tudor is just the right size for little hands. The end papers in some books can also help tell the story. Some authors, illustrators like to control the pace of their books so that the reader can't rush through the story. There are letters to open and read in The Jolly Postman. In Little Mouse's Book of Fears, there are newspaper clippings and maps that give clues to the different fears. What do you see in picture books? The picture shape, which can also create a mood, borders, double page illustration, single page, gutters, that's down through the spine of the book, bleed, consistency of pictures and text, position and size of characters or objects. Is everything anchored at the bottom of the page? Jan Brett's books are famous for telling at least two stories, one in the borders and one in the main part of the book. Play with Pumpkin's illustrations just can't be contained to one page. It's called a double page image. Bleed refers to objects that extend beyond the edge of the printed page. It's sometimes the result of a printing issue, but it makes the viewer use his or her imagination to complete the image. This gives the reader some control over the story because he can use his imagination to tell the story or finish the image any way he wants to. What are some other things to watch for in picture books? Race of the protagonist. Does it fit the storyline? What's the art medium used? Is it effective in that book and in that illustration? Do illustrators illuminate the story? Do they reflect what the story, if it's in words, is trying to say? Is there an integration of text and pictures through the design? Can you follow the story through the illustrations as well? Are there good diagrams, accurate maps? Is it monochromatic? How is light and dark used? What about mixed media books, the fabric, paper, or pop-up books? Barefoot, Escape on the Underground Railroad, uses dark images on every page to allow the reader to experience the frightening and uncertain tale of escaping slaves. It looked like spilt milk makes good use of only one color, the blue of the sky. Are picture books really no longer a staple for children? There's been a push from parents and schools for kids to start reading big kid books much earlier. Parents say kids don't need picture books anymore. Children have more options to fill their entertainment hours. Bookstores, if you can find one, don't have room for picture books. Young adult lit is the big seller. I think it's sad to hear parents say my kid doesn't need books with pictures anymore. I still believe in the expression that a picture's worth 1,000 words. Parents feel that somehow they shouldn't let their child have picture books because that way they won't get into Harvard. Picture books should be a staple for children. They're not for dummies. They have a particular way to develop a child's critical thinking skills. Picture books force an analog way of thinking. Karen Lotz, the publisher of Candlewick Press in Somerville, Massachusetts, believes that from picture to picture, as the reader interacts with the book, their imagination is filling in the missing themes. Picture books in foreign languages can be a great way to learn a second language. Many parents overlook the fact that chapter books, even though they have more text, full paragraphs, and fewer pictures, are not necessarily more complex. Some of the vocabulary in a picture book is much more challenging than in a chapter book. The words themselves and the concepts can be very sophisticated in a picture book. Chris Freeland, book buyer for Vroman's Bookstore in California. Picture books have a real comfort element to them. Jan Heller, Vice President and Associated Publisher of the Penguin Young Readers Group. If you get an opportunity, check out some of these links about books and their illustrations. I can't wait to see the books that you are creating. See you soon.